Bon voyage, Euro. Hasta la vista. Arrivederci. Euro's gone. Aussie's gone. Call the Aussie, call the Euro. Let's talk about it. Roll the intro. Boop. Hola, trader compadres. Welcome back to another Sunday market breakdown. I'm feeling a little bit international today. Might be taking some flights, so I'll keep you guys posted. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. We had a solid weekend on our end. Had a great Thanksgiving. Ate up. Vegan Thanksgivings only, though. Okay, didn't slip up. Didn't eat any meat. I'm really proud about that. Okay, so give me a like for it. The ending of last week, markets really ripped. Okay, so we're gonna run the tape on the Euro. We're gonna run the tape on the Aussie, and we're gonna run the tape on the US CAD. We had a couple extra trade ideas that were called out in the community, but you guys wouldn't have known about those. But let's run the ones that we were talking about on the Monday market breakdown. Okay, and below I'm gonna tag up the Monday market breakdown from last week. So you guys want to make sure that you go check that out, and obviously you want to make sure that you're subscribed if you're new. Okay, welcome. You know, this stuff comes out pretty quick. These moves happen pretty fast. If you're subbed, you're gonna get alerted of that information, and like the video for your boy. Appreciate it. But first things first, let's talk about this Euro U. We wanted to break sell side and then a push back up into structure. We did want Euro U long, but we thought there was going to be a quick intraday short opportunity that we could have caught, which somewhat ended up happening. We never came all the way back down flush into the structure, the structural low. I'll give you guys a screenshot here, but we did end up ripping higher, and we had a few trade ideas on if markets never touched the base, we could probably take just the breakout up into structure there. So here's the tape on it. Breakout. I would love to see markets pull back a bit, and then we would take the pullback up into the structure. I would just hate getting in at the 18 flat, knowing last week if I want to swing it out, then we should have stayed in the position, right? Because we were down here executing at the 17 flats, right? So let's see what happens. Would love to see the pullback and then the push higher here. Hopefully Draghi can, the volatility can. So right now Euro is just monstrously higher than we expected it to run, right? So we knew markets would probably run back up into 18 flat, and we knew 18 flat was probably going to be where markets may be, you know, where there may be a little bit of turmoil and, you know, I guess risk associated with continuing in that buy. If we can get outside of 18 flat, we knew that we could have just kept running, and that's exactly what happened, right? So if you guys can see, there was like this little flag that appeared on the 4 hour right there at 18 flat, and then once markets broke outside of that flag, the thing absolutely ripped. So I think markets are right now in the 19 mids. Crazy. We actually drew up a range during one of our webinars. We said basically, hey, look, markets are right now at 16, you can say the 16s all the way up into these high 20s, right? I don't think, guys, that we're going to escape out of this level here. We were supposed to hit off on that 38.2, and this is what we talked about last week. We broke the 23.6, which was expected, but we might not hit all the way back up into that 38. Okay, so the fact that we mentioned that, hey, I don't think markets are probably going to push back up into that 32. I think we've kind of met our ceiling, and we might just start ranging around these lows and ranging around inside of this larger consolidation. That's what we thought could happen, but I didn't think that we would run all the way up into the mid and somewhat higher than the mid of that consolidation here, okay? So from the 16s all the way up into the 20s. So Euro, again, it's an interesting play. Right now, if you want to execute on some type of Euro play, probably something sell side would be good. So you want to see a little bit of consolidation up there at this structural high. Maybe we can catch a break back down into the 1820s, maybe the 18 teens, okay? So we had a trade idea for the Aussie. Aussie was probably one of the best plays. I know Jesus was actually calling out some of the actual positions for Aussie in terms of stop, entry, target. So let's run the tape back on that Aussie dollar buy idea. You can see a correction back up into structure, especially if the US dollar doesn't hit off on you know, any kind of target. And I don't think there's going to be too much capital being taken out of the market to the sell side until we get some new data coming out. So hopefully we can get markets to consolidate here. We're seeing some whipsawing at the moment down here at this level. That's a good sign. Maybe by the end of the week we'll get some break back up into structure. So that's what I'm looking for in the Aussie. So like most pairs, if you were selling off the US dollar and not buying US dollar, you probably made money last week, okay? And that was the general idea. Again, I didn't think that we were going to probably push back up into this 38.2 on the dollar index. All right, it just doesn't seem likely. So I was just assuming we might get a few pullbacks, and that's what we're seeing right here on this Aussie dollar. Okay, so we came back down into that larger monthly structure that we were talking about. Here's a screenshot, and just markets are now just kind of running higher. So if there was anything that did have a little bit more, I guess, move to run, you would want to probably play that over there in the Aussie dollar. I think that we can still probably keep pushing up into the 38.2, up into the 50% retracement level from the swing high to the swing low. All right, so we also traded that on the NZD USD. Love the NZD USD. You guys will see nice solid foundation at the low here. Markets consolidated, created a very good looking ceiling. Boom, breakout of the ceiling. We took that breakout as well in the community. All right, so I think there's still some opportunity, mainly over here on this Aussie dollar. Actually, we haven't run the tape on this US CAD. Let's talk about the US CAD short idea, because US CAD was somewhat bouncing on a trend line on the 4-hour, and we thought a break of that TL could probably take us back down into where the TL started formed. That's usually your first target when you're trading trend lines, and that's pretty much what happened. Let's run the tape on the US CAD short trade idea. So right now markets are hanging on this trend line here, which is what we were looking at, and if we get a break of the CTL, then that would give causation for sure to maybe start shorting this market back down into this structural low, and then maybe we can get markets to run even down to the $1.25 mids, so $1.25.50 there. So here's a picture of US CAD right now. We did think US CAD could potentially push outside of that 28 flat, but the move never really sustained, because at first in the beginning of the week it was somewhat 50-50. Markets could go long, markets could go short, obviously, but we really didn't have a true directional bias until we saw the failed break outside of that 28 flat. And then throughout the week, we were saying, all right, might be able to take this thing short and get a break of this trend line here, and that's exactly what happened. So this week, again, maybe looking for a continuation on the Aussie, maybe looking for a pullback on that US dollar. That's what I'm looking at, and we might be able to find some other pairs, maybe some miners that actually have some fairly good-looking structures as well that we can play, and I'm gonna be going over them here inside the Monday breakdown. All right. So again, guys, make sure you're subbed, and again, like the video for your boy. I really appreciate it. Let's go over to the charts and let's see what we got. All right, let's pull over to the charts. All right, guys, let's pull over into these charts. By the way, post your trades below, folks. I want to know what you guys are looking at, too. Let's have a conversation. I'll give you an idea of what I think of the pair that you're trying to play. Obviously, it needs to be a pair outside of this one, or if you think you can, or if you want to play an opposite direction than me, then let me know. I want to know. We'll see how things play out. But take a look at this Euro U. Here's where we are, 1950, right there at the 19 mids. And this is that general zone that I drew up during one of our webinars, saying, hey guys, we might have met our low here for this Euro U. Markets could easily just start coming back up inside of this range there, and it seems like that's what's about to start happening. So this overall general larger range is something that, geez, I mean, the way markets have moved, it's like, okay, well, now we're at the high of this range almost. I mean, are we going to be breaking out of it? I mean, is the US dollar going to be that weak over the next couple of weeks, all the way up until the end of 2018? It's just something that we're going to have to see for ourselves. But at the moment, I felt as if we could probably see markets push back down in the structure. So maybe we'll come up into these $20s, and then once markets come up into the $20s, maybe we lose a little bit of steam and we can have a little bit of a sell-off. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. So right now, no buy signal, no sell signal really on the pair. We got to wait things out a bit and see exactly where this market wants to close off. I think, again, if we can come up into these $20s and start to slow down a bit up here, might be able to take a pullback down into structure. Okay, so let's see what we got. Let's draw up our fibs and whatnot. Okay, so from the low to the high, let's see where we're at. So we're sitting right there. Remember, we hung on that 23.6. The mark where we shorted that market back down into that level a few months ago. If you look at it on the weekly perspective, you guys can see that again, weekly kind of came underneath it, held that level there, and now you're seeing markets kind of push back up. Some two very solid weeks, man. Look at that US weakness that came in on this Euro strength, man. Just monstrous push outside of this 16 flat, and we were buying on this week, and we had a buy idea on this week. Again, just thought markets would pull back a little bit more than they did. If we go down on the daily here, you guys will see what I'm talking about. I know I just mentioned it, but again, it's just always very surprising. This was the conundrum that we were talking about during one of our webinars. It's like, hey, are markets going to pull all the way back down into these 1660s? Or are they stuck here and we're just about to start getting rips of this Euro U outside of the structure? And so what we did was we had trade ideas to basically put some buys right above the structure. So if markets consolidated here, which they did, maybe you put a buy above that consolidation and basically get stopped into the market, and you could just have your buys along the way as they pushed up into structure, and now you can basically just trail it out. So that's what we're looking like on the Euro. Would love to see markets pull back a bit. Maybe we can get some consolidation up here in these highs and short markets back down, maybe into these 18 mids, 1820s here. Okay, so that's why that was my target. I saw some structure here, right? And so maybe we can get markets to pull back down into that general structure there. That looks pretty good. But we would need a nice tight consolidation, right? You want markets to consolidate no lower than the 1930s. Okay, so then that way, when you took the break of the 1930 structure, you could actually have some serious, profit potential down into that next target, which would be these 18 mids, 1820s. All right, so pulling over, here's that US CAD. Got some wild drawings up on here too. US CAD again, again, if this US dollar is just going to keep going short, as you guys can see, we did pull back down into the target 1 of that trend line here. And if this US CAD wants to just keep pushing short, then I guess you're looking for a break outside of this structure, which looks pretty good. So a continuation short on this US CAD might be a play. Okay, it might be a play, and it's adding up to be right around a 23.6 as well. So let's see if this US CAD can break down outside of this level. First target obviously is going to be that 38.2, but I'm feeling short US CAD this week. Now, if markets bounce right here at this level, then again, I just probably won't be in the buy side push. I like to have a bias. I like to pick one side, and if it goes the other direction, then I just missed the move, and I'm maybe going to wait for that sell side position to actually come in. So we liquidated down here at this low. If you want to get back in again, you could just maybe wait for a pullback, or again, you could take the breakout lower. I think the breakout lower in this case, you guys know sometimes I don't like that. In this case, I like it. I like how the structure formation looks. We could take a breakout lower down into this 38.2, and that could be something that could do real well for you. So pulling over, let's look at this Aussie dollar real quick as well. Aussie dollar, here was what we drew up last week, basically saying that Aussie dollar could have a push, and that's exactly what we got, right? So market's pushed outside of the structure, and they're somewhat just hitting off, obviously, right here at these 76 mids. Why? Why do you think that's happened? Well, probably because of this enormous structure here that's kind of giving people a little bit of a hard time basically buying markets outside of this structure there. So that is the tumultuous level that we are looking to break right now for this Aussie dollar. Would love to see a break outside of that, but what it did do was it did add up to give you a pretty decent ceiling here too, right? So if we go down and check this out,